Alright, you guys, what's up? It's Impostamon here. Um, I'm making a video mainly due to the fact of that I want to sit here and start showing more underrated things in the format. Things that are not seen as competitive decks, but maybe you at your LGS want to go and have fun and play one day. And I believe that these decks could be beneficial to you, could definitely go and help out in the upcoming format, especially with us getting a lot of hybrid support. Obviously, as we get more support, I will update these decks to go and follow that. So, first things first, I want to shout out my LGS HOC Lebanon, or HOC Leb is their TCG player tag. As you see, they have somewhere around, I think it's like 11,100 cards currently online, and they have plenty more in the store. They won't list what they have in shop online. So if you guys ever need any like Digimon cards or anything, you can send them a list. I will be hopefully getting links and everything to that later on this week, where you guys can send lists to them. And they can pull everything out and they can go and do everything online. Or if you're a local player, say you're in Lancaster, etc., and you want to go and get to go and see where they are, House of Cards Lebanon is located right on Cumberland Street in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. You guys can always check it out. Most of the time I'm there on a Saturday or Sunday playing some sort of card game, whether it be My Hero Academia, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic the Gathering, etc. So without further ado, we're going to get into the video, you guys. So today I decided that I would go through a Shine Gray deck. Now, it's not the Shine Gray you're thinking of. It's the red Shine Gray that gains security attack when you rest a tamer. So without further ado, we're just going to get right into it. Obviously, starting with the eggs, we're going to play the 4 copies of Koromon. Almost everything we play in here is Greymon Tribal. So with that, it allows us to be able to draw an additional card, which allows us to go and further our game state and make it so that way we can take ourselves into the late game while searching out materials that we need to go and be able to climb the chain. Next, we'll be playing 4 copies of Promo Agumon. So this Promo Agumon obviously is like $5-6 a piece. If you guys don't have the budget for that, you can always play the original structure deck, or I believe it was set 1 Agumon that just states that it gets plus 1,000 power. And that allows you then, instead of playing the one that gives plus 2 if it has Greymon and whatnot, it allows you to go and stick to a budget. That is an option you can do, but I always recommend this because everything you're playing this deck for the most part, besides 1 card I believe, or 2 cards actually technically, my bad, have Greymon in their name. So, meaning that this skill is always going to proc, and this skill as an inheritable just states that if this Digimon has Greymon in its name, it gets plus 2,000 DP. Now, obviously that might not seem like a whole lot, but this deck is more glass cannony, and it is meant as a one-punch deck. Moving forward, though, we're playing 3 copies of BT5 Agumon. BT5 Agumon just states, on play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 Digimon with Greymon in its name, other than certain cards. So it states other than Duro Greymon, Burning Greymon, or Dex Duro Greymon, and add one Digimon card with Omnimon in its name from among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. Meaning, this allows you to search the Blitz Omni. We are playing 2 Blitz Omni in this deck, and we will get to that later. This does help with all the consistency because our level 6 that we are playing is Shine Greymon. Because it has Greymon in its name, this is able to search it. Continuing on with it, we are playing 4 copies of ST7 Agumon. ST7 Agumon just states that when this Digimon attacks, it gets plus 2,000 DP for the turn. Meaning that it's just as good as the Promo Agumon, except it's not continuous throughout your whole entire turn. It's just when attacking, it gets plus 2,000 for the turn. But, mind you, it is not hard once per turn. So Digimon that gets plus 2,000, let's say you Digivolve into something else on top of that, let's say you Digivolve into Blitz Omni, and this skill already procced, you can get it again, so you do get a plus 4,000 bonus when you go into an Omnimon. Lastly, for the 13th, 14th, and 15th slot for rookies, we're going to be playing the Biomon from EX01. and it may be a little weird, maybe a little off. But this Biyomon just states when attacking once per turn, when this Digimon attacks a player, draw one card. So being able to go and draw and dig further into our deck is a huge help. You could always substitute these in with, or substitute these out for the 1K Agumon from the structure deck, or set one, or whatever it was. I believe it's structure deck. But personally, I find the Biyomon was more useful and able to fill the utility purpose that we need it for. Moving on to the champions now. The champions are fairly straightforward and fairly simple, so you shouldn't be getting lost in this at all. So we're playing 4 copies of Security Attack +1 Greymon. Now, the Security Attack +1 guarantees that you're at minimum normally hitting around 3 security in this deck every time. But you could always substitute this with the Greymon that gives +2000 as inheritable, because hitting a certain number is sometimes a problem in this deck. And it is something that you guys will go and see if you ever play test with this deck or mess around with it and mess with logistical numbers of it. The numbers normally don't hit huge. You're going to hit 15, 16 normally. Highest I've ever hit is 22,000. But you can't always be relying on that highest number. It all depends on your luck, RNG, etc., and that decides it. The other Greymon we're playing as our level 4 is the promo Greymon. I always recommend this, especially since this deck is fairly slow in the early game. This does apply enough pressure with both the structure deck Agumon and the promo Agumon to go and put your opponent into bad situations. Against Gabubon, this does help apply the pressure that you need to be able to go and make it so that way they have to decide whether or not to waste the Mechanorimon or whether or not to just allow you to take 2 security. Because sometimes this will go and be hitting 9 or 11 and take 4 security. And they have to decide if it's really worth not like allowing that card to hit or allowing it to hit. And then lastly, we are playing 2 Agunimon. Seeing a lot of people play 1 or 2 Agunimon in red, and obviously playing the Nationals this past weekend, I always wanted something where I could just Digivolve into a tamer and just go off. But the problem was that I didn't have access to that in black, which was the color I was playing. So being able to play red, playing 2 Agunimon is always a good idea. Moving forward to the level 5s. Level 5s, obviously, the best one for this deck, Rise Gray. Rise Gray just states your main phase, or your turn, main Digiverse 2, which means you get rid of 2 sources underneath. It allows you to play 1 tamer with a play cost of 4 less from your hand without paying its memory cost. It's really good because this deck is relying on tamers, and it tosses down a tamer, and let's say you swing with this, you deplete their last security. That tamer, if you Digivolve into an Agunimon, does not have summoning sickness, so you can swing for game immediately after Digivolving. As long as you have the memory, it does not become your opponent's turn. So with that in mind, that's really good. And we're playing 3 Voltramons. It's just that security attack +1 is always beneficial. There's nothing else really to say. We're only playing 7 level 5s because we only play 6 level 6s. Which obviously is a bit less than what most people are playing, but we are playing a higher tamer count, as well as a couple options to go and play, to go and be against certain matchups. We're playing 3 copies of Shinegreymon. It's a rare from BT4. Obviously, this was overlooked, and most people didn't even see it as an option at all. So it just states when one of your red or yellow tamers is suspended, this Digimon gains security attack +1. So, as a 3 cost, if you have, let's say, I don't know, if you have the Security Greymon, which gives security attack +1, and the Voltramon in your stack, okay, and then you swing with this, you rest a Marcus and you rest a Sora, okay, meaning that you're swinging for 5 security, okay, you're gaining a memory, and Sora gives it another +2. So if you have the promo Agumon underneath, you're hitting for 15,000 easily, gaining a memory, and you have 5 security checks. It allows it to be more consistent without having to waste things, I guess is the best way to say it, because even if you have to go and wait a turn to go and swing with this, you can just leave it in breeding area and it's perfectly fine then. And then the other level 6 we are playing is the Shinegreymon from the structure deck from ST7. Just states it has security attack +1 piercing. We do have ways to give it additional security checks, as you saw with the Voltramon and the Greymon. So we can go and get him normally to 3 checks, 4 checks, or even 5 checks at sometimes, depending on the situation. But he is a 4 cost to go into. So playing win rate wouldn't be a bad idea in this deck. I just do not have the spacing for it at the moment. So obviously we already talked about this. We are playing 2 Omnis, Blitz Omnis. The Blitz Omni allows us to go and be able to Digivolve on top of the Shinegreymon, the BT4 one, and it will keep all of those security checks because it states on the Shinegray that it keeps those security checks for the duration of the turn. So meaning that when you Digivolve into this Omnimon, if it has 4 security checks or 5 security checks, you're going to be swinging for that same amount. And being able to make it so that way you can swing for that amount is huge. And it allows for different play styles and different plays to be made and coordinates to that. Next, moving on to options and tamers. Obviously, we're going to be playing 4 copies of Marcus. The main thing here is that you keep your tamers available. Marcus does allow you to go and play or gain an additional memory when swinging, so Ice Wall is not as big of a deal because you're not going to be swinging multiple times in a single turn. Obviously, with Ice Wall going down to 1, it shouldn't be much of a problem, but if you have a Marcus on board and you're at 1 and you swing with a Shine Gray, you can always suspend him, go to 2, so that way then you do not lose your turn to a Hammer Spark or to a Ice Wall, because they are still going to be problematic cards moving forward in the format. The next tamer that we play, I believe a lot of people were overlooking at first, but it is something I saw and I was like, well, you know what, this is actually pretty neat. Because most people didn't know, at least as far as I know from the people I talked to, Sora does suspend herself when you use her ability. So she just states, your turn, when one of your red Digimon attacks a player, you may suspend this tamer to give that Digimon plus 2000 DP for the turn. Meaning that when Shine Gray, either one, attacks, you can suspend her and give it plus 2. If you have the rare Shine Gray on board, it means that it will become a 13 and it will gain an additional security check, meaning that it's going to be doing 2 checks at minimum. And that's phenomenal. You're able to just go through it fairly easily. And especially if you have Marcus on board, you're going to 3 memory at the beginning of your turn anyway. So being able to play a Sora to go and sit there and help you out can go and sometimes mean the difference between a game and continuation. And then lastly, 2 Lightning Jousts. We should, in theory, be down on security the entirety of the game and against our opponent. This deck isn't meant to be fast. It's meant to be slow, steady, and consistent. And that's the reason why we run certain pieces that we do. And Lightning Joust, it's just a 1-drop option that says main one of your Digimon gets plus 2000 DP for the turn. Then, if the number of cards in your security stack is less than or equal to your opponent's, one of your Digimon gains security attack plus 1. Meaning that with the Greymon, we can get very, very aggressive, make him at 11k, deplete security, etc. It's obviously a fun deck. It's not meant to be competitive. As I said before, we're going to be going through this, and we're hopefully going to go and find some very decent casual decks, some tier 2, 3, hell, even 4 decks that we can go and take to our LGS and play. And hopefully, over time, I will be able to go and establish a way to go and stream or even record those games for you. So that way you guys can go and see the development of these decks. Obviously, they're all going to change over time. And I'm going to try and keep them within a certain budget. So obviously for this one, certain cards are worth a lot. Like the promo Agumons are like $5, $6 a piece. The Greymons are like, I believe, 7, 8. I wanted to try and keep this deck below $100. And I believe when I totaled it all out, it came out to like $65, which isn't bad. A $65 deck to go and take into an event. Now that also does not include the alt art. I valued that at the regular one. I didn't have spare regular ones because I do have a commission to make a deck for someone. So with that in mind, I don't have my regular artworks anymore. I got rid of them. But besides that, like, the deck's fairly cheap. Its budget is meant to be fun, something for you to go and play with your friends, or even bring to an LGS and surprise the competition with something that's really, really interesting, something that's not meta, something that you yourself get to go and see, and you yourself can go and change and take into any different route. Because obviously, like, right now we have Gabumon, or Gabumon, Agumon, Jessamon, Lilithloop, etc., and you have to play certain things. You don't have the creativity to go about it. Well, with this deck, you can go any which way you want for your level 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, but you just need to go and play these 8 tamers. These are the only cards set in stone. Besides that, you can play all you want. You can play the Phoenixmon engine with the Gardramons, etc., or I meant the Biomon. Bio, what is it? Is it Bio or is it Pio? Bio. You can play the Biomon engine with the promo. You can play the Garudamon that just states when attacking a player, gain 1 memory. So whenever you swing with Shinegray, if you have the Garudamon and you have Marcus, you're gaining 2 memory when you swing, which is really good. So with that, you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Obviously, this isn't going to be like a huge thing. We are going to probably try and get deck lists out 2, 3, maybe even 4 times a week, just to go and change it up, see how everything goes. Obviously, I am going to post up lists for what I played at nationals. Maybe I'll post up my buddies list too. I don't know yet. We're going to get all into that later on. But I thought I would go and give, as my first deck profile on this channel, at least for Digimon TCG, I wanted to do something fun. And Shinegray, I believe, is a lot of fun. I did enjoy playtesting it online for a little bit, and it didn't do horribly, but there is a lot of things that need to be changed for it to be very, very good in the upcoming format. But without further ado, you guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, obviously press the like button. Don't forget to support HOC Lebden, or HOC Leb, and make sure to go and check out their retail. Make sure that you always go, and if you have cards wherever that you need pulled, always hit them up. They're always good. If you actually look up online on Google, you can go and find them, and they can actually hook you up with pretty good deals on cards. I go to them for a lot of things, especially my Digimon, my Magic. I go to them for that. Yeah, so I hope you guys all have a good day. Obviously, understand and remember to always stay safe. Obviously, some of us live rough lives, but stay safe, be aware of your surroundings, and have fun. Enjoy playing the Digimon TCG, and enjoy the company of new people and other people.